Hi, I'm Scott Stork with Polaris Law Group in St. Charles, Missouri. And today I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about what to expect when you start estate planning. So I want to give you some information about our process and what it's like to come in and work with us potentially. So first and foremost, I know that going to a lawyer's office and talking to a lawyer about anything can be intimidating. And most people aren't very excited to talk to lawyers, which I completely understand. What we want to do is make sure that you're comfortable with what planning is, what it means to do estate planning, and also that you don't feel overwhelmed about it. Because if you feel overwhelmed, you're just never going to do it. So the best thing we can do is help you feel like that you're going to know what to expect when you come in. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about how we do planning and what it means to come in and do some estate planning with us. And kind of at the forefront of what we do here at Polaris Law Group is one, just educate you about what estate planning means. Because when people hear the term estate planning, it can mean all sorts of things in their mind. And what we want to make sure you know is what estate planning is and how potentially it can help you and your family. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking to you about the different types of planning, what you can potentially do, what the pros and cons of that are, and really get you comfortable with the estate planning process. We're going to need to do a lot of things. We're needing to gather information from you. So at that first meeting, a lot of that is us talking to you about just general estate planning matters and making sure that you know what you can and can't do. And the first issue that most lawyers have is that they can be really confusing to talk to. They use lots of legal jargon. They talk over clients' heads a lot because they're so used to talking to other lawyers that they talk with all of the legal terms, or sometimes they just want to appear smarter than what they really are, or they want to be the smartest person in the room. And that's not a great way to interact with clients. So what you'll find here with us is that we're going to talk to you in plain terms. We use, my partner and I, a lot of stories to explain legal concepts. And it really helps clients to feel comfortable understanding what they're able to do and potentially how they're able to use an estate plan to protect their family. So we're going to make sure that you're asking the right questions. We want to make sure that you ask the exact same types of questions that we would ask if we were on your side of the table, so to speak. So if I was in your shoes and I wanted to plan my estate, as the lawyer, I want to make sure that you understand the same things and be aware of the same things that I'd be concerned about and are asking all of the right questions to make sure that your plan is planned the right way. The things that you will need to do is you're going to have to educate us, and you're going to have to educate us about you and your family. So that means that we're going to have to gather information from you. And so one of the meetings, what we call our discovery dialogue, is the first meeting, we're going to do all the education for you. This second meeting, you're going to educate us. And so you're going to tell us about all of the property and the assets that you own. You're going to tell us about family issues that you may have, special concerns that you may have. And really, you have to be comfortable with who you work with, because you're not going to want to divulge information that sometimes can be kind of difficult to talk about unless you feel comfortable with who you're working with. So the more that you can educate your attorney about what your situation is, the better they're going to be able to, and the better we'll be able to give you the tools necessary to deal with those potential issues. Once you give us information and kind of educate us, then we're going to kind of go through the process of discovering what your goals are. So you probably have a good idea of what you might want to accomplish in doing estate planning. We hopefully, in kind of making sure you're asking the right questions, will help clarify some of those goals. But once you give us those goals, then we're going to be able to decide whether or not we want to work together. And so when we talk about goals, we use something called the Snapshot Test story. And so if you think about kind of the end of your life after you pass away, and you're hopefully looking down from your cloud and you're seeing your family in kind of their lives, you're hoping that it's kind of that idyllic situation where everything's working smoothly, where there's been no issues, no family fights, no major consternation. And so if you take a snapshot then, that's the ideal. What we want to do in planning is, as much as possible, do your plan and take a snapshot after your plan's done, and hopefully those two things meet and look the same. For a lot of people now, that snapshot looks really fuzzy because they don't know all of the things potentially that they should be on the lookout for, that they should be aware of, and that they can do when doing planning. So the more that we can educate you about those things, the clearer that snapshot is going to be. Again, once we do decide to work together, then we're going to move into what we call our design meeting. So that's a separate meeting. And the design meeting is simply putting the plan together. And so lawyers, again, are trained pretty poorly in how to deal with clients. You'll find a lot of lawyers who they have their face in kind of a yellow legal pad and they're taking notes and they're not really engaging with the clients in the right way. Whereas we do everything on screen. We're very visual. And so we have a system where we're going to walk you through visually your whole estate plan and what we call the 4 stages of your estate. And we're going to put those pieces into place, and you're going to see how decisions you make in one spot are going to affect another spot. And how the different tools in the estate planning, the documents that you create, what's going to be used where for what situation. And so in doing that visual type of planning, I have never had a client walk out saying they're confused about what their estate plan is. I don't want you to know kind of every little intricate detail, but I do want you to walk out and be comfortable with the big picture and kind of how that plan works. And so kind of our promise to you is that you're going to feel much more comfortable walking out of that meeting and understanding how it is that you've done planning. So then what we do is within 30 days, then we're going to come back in and we're going to sign those documents. So we'll kind of review the documents with you. We talk about kind of the big concepts again, point out, who the helpers are here, who the beneficiaries that are inheriting are there, how they're inheriting, etc., to make sure that that design that we did where we put the plan together matches kind of the delivered estate plan that you're going to sign at the end. And so again, we're very concerned and we're very conscious of making sure that you're comfortable through every step of the process, all the way from that initial meeting when you call our office to book the meeting, through the first meeting that we've got where we kind of talk to you and educate you about what estate planning is, through the next meeting where you educate us about your situation and we make sure that we've discovered all the goals that you have and we work on that together, to the next meeting, which is our design meeting to design your plan, and then all the way to that delivery meeting where now we're signing the documents. You should feel very comfortable through those meetings and through that process to really understand what estate planning is. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and we hope that we'll see you soon.